We are back. Assalamu alaikum to you all once again, and a very warm welcome to our guest today, all the way from Australia, the #1 ranked MMA strawweight in that beautiful country, none other than Jacinta the Juggernaut Austin. Jacinta, big thanks for your time. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Pleasure having you. We're excited to talk to you and just as excited for your upcoming fight. Your first MMA fight in the Middle East, I believe, and outside of Australia as well. Are you excited to be fighting for UAE Warriors and to fight in Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, I'm thrilled. Ever since I had my pro MMA debut, my current management brought up UAE Warriors since
Yeah.
that day, and I've been like so excited to finally like get on and we're on now. So yeah,
Awesome.
it's very
Awesome.
exciting.
Is it your first time visiting the region?
Yeah, first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We're happy to welcome you to the Middle East. Now, definitely plenty to see and do. Of course, at the top of your to-do list is to kick some ass at UAE Warriors 36 on the 25th of February. Now, this, of course, is an MMA fight, but your experience goes deeper than just MMA. You're also a professional boxer, kickboxer, as well as a Muay Thai fighter. We've seen you submit people in BJJ tournaments, as well as in the cage. Well-rounded indeed. Now, after boxing and kickboxing, what made you stick to MMA?
For one, I just love the training a lot more. I love the variety of the training. There's so much to learn in each discipline as well. So I love the depth of it. Another thing was the career progression. MMA has offered me like a lot more career paths and opportunities than I felt kickboxing and Muay Thai was going to. And another thing is like when I was doing kickboxing, Muay Thai, I never did any form of grappling, no jiu-jitsu, no wrestling, and since I took that up a couple of years ago, I've actually found that I enjoy that probably more than I enjoy my striking now. So I can't actually imagine a world of training without that part of it now.
Nice, nice. And you've got quite a few fights now under your belt in MMA. Your fifth one on the 25th will be against Josephine Knudsen, nicknamed Thunder. It's her fifth MMA fight as well. Now, you both have very, very similar records. 4-0 with 3 decisions each. You have a win by submission. She has one by TKO. How do you see this fight going down, and what are you expecting of your opponent?
I'm expecting credit where credit's due. Josephine looks very tough. She's got a lot of fight in her. She's not going to be any walkover. However, I look at her striking as someone who's I've done striking for a long time too, and I'm not seeing anything special or too dangerous or anything that I haven't already faced before. So all the talk about Nyreen, Josephine outstriking me and beating me up on the feet, I think is a little bit silly and a little bit naive. I think I hold the edge in the striking and the grappling wherever it goes.
It's interesting you brought that up. You know, in a recent interview, she mentioned that she doesn't believe that you're going to want to stand and strike with her. Her exact words were, I think she's going to want to take me down. She's not going to be able to stand my striking. It's going to be her mission to try to take me down. Do you feel she's overlooking your experience in boxing and kickboxing? What are your thoughts on her comments?
All I really feel is that she is laying these little tricks because she wants me to stand and strike with her. That's what she wants, is she wants a striking fight. She's made it very clear in all her interviews that she's a striker and she's here to show everyone her striking. Um, and I think she's very scared of someone who might want to grapple her. So this is her way of trying to keep the fight on the feet. Unlucky for her, I'm happy to go either way, and I think on the night she's going to show me which way I want to go. Um, but yeah, all this talk of her striking being overwhelming, like I've had near 26 striking fights. So I don't think she's going to present me with anything I haven't already faced before. Um, she went on road to UFC already to show her striking. UFC had a look at it and they weren't impressed. So what more is there to say?
You know, on that topic, it's a pretty big fight for you both. There has been some talk going around that the winner of this fight could possibly get a call from the UFC. Is there any solid progress with regards to that? Have you, your team, Phoenix Sports Management, have any of you had any direct contact with them?
So when the UFC were coming, well, when they came to Australia a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago now, um, I had a little rally to try and get on that card. Um, Phoenix, my management had reached out, and the feedback was that they wanted another win. They wanted another dominant win over a credible opponent. So I think Josephine ticks the boxes of a credible opponent, being undefeated, and also already being on road to UFC. They've obviously shown some interest in her. So going out there and getting a dominant victory over her, I think, yeah, pretty much sets me up to jump straight in after this.
Nice, nice. And you know, if anybody's gonna get it done, it's Phoenix, and it wouldn't take too much convincing getting a fighter like you onto that roster either way. Jacinta, many fighters hope to end up in the UFC one day. Does that idea give you more motivation for this upcoming fight?
Yeah, definitely. I think because I know that they've already been watching her and they have given her a chance, it makes me really like feel confident that if I can show that I'm significantly better than her, then they're going to be looking at me instead of her.
Okay, and you definitely have the support of another Australian, none other than Mr. Jamie Mullarkey. He had a unanimous decision win at UFC 284 when the UFC was in Australia. You posted about it. He reshared it saying, "You're up next, killer." Encouraging words from a true warrior. Now you train with Jamie, correct?
Yeah, so me and Jamie, we wrestle together on the central. Well, not really us together. We wrestle in the same session. There's a bit of a size difference between us, but we wrestle in the same session. With we have a wrestling coach there, Gary from Canada, and he runs a wrestling session there on Thursday. So we all meet at this somewhat central location, with a bunch of other MMA fighters and competitive wrestlers and yeah, we go through that together. So it's really cool to watch him in the training room. He's such a like a motivation, inspiration, just his work ethic and his drive. And even though he's so much more accomplished than everyone in the room, he's so incredibly humble and so eager to learn. So yeah, I take a lot from watching him
Yeah,
train and
seems like
fight.
seems like a very cool guy and definitely a badass, that's for sure. Now, as a
Yeah.
fighter yourself, is it more difficult watching friends or teammates, excuse me, fighting or being in the cage yourself? Now, obviously, on the physical aspect, of course, it's more difficult being in the cage yourself. But at least from a mental or emotional side, how do you feel watching training partners, friends, or whoever it might be, someone that you know in there fighting?
Yeah, I get very nervous, especially when I'm like if I jump in the corner in the back room with them, I'm helping them warm up. I've been like working with them all camp. I get very nervous for them, not because I think they're going to get hurt, but I want them to have the joy of the win, and I've seen all the work. I want them to have their 5 seconds in the sun and have their glory, and yeah, all the happy times I felt getting the win, I want them to have that as well. Um, the only thing that's kind of different to me is like if I see their opponent being rude to them or calling them out or shit talking, I get very defensive of them. Whereas if someone does it to me, like Josephine's doing for the past few weeks, I don't really care. I think it's silly. But if you do it to my teammates, then I get a bit riled.
Yeah, yeah. Same thing with family, right? You know, someone cusses me out, it's like, whatever, just some loser. But they talk about your family or they talk to your family, all of a sudden it's like, no, you crossed the line. Very,
Yeah.
very interesting.
Well, I
Now,
was fine. I've been completely fine with all like the Josephine's been making silly things online. She put a story up that I was like fat and overweight, whatever. I don't really care. But then when she started putting things up about my coaches, that's when I kind of switched and I was like, hold on, I can be a fucking bully too if you want to go this way. So yeah, when they're rude and disrespectful to like your teammates and people that are close to you, it's a bit different for me.
and how do you block that out come fight night? I mean, you know, they always say don't let your anger get the best of you, don't let your emotions get the best of you. Is there any strategy you take, or do you just forget about it and charge ahead?
I'm not a very angry person. I never get angry. I get I get irritated and annoyed at some of the bad things that have been said towards my team. But I've had enough fights now. I've had almost 30 fights total that I know how to stay calm and cool and collected in the cage by now.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And how did you feel watching the main event that night? None other than one of our favorite Aussies, Mr. Alexander Volkanovski. What a fight. What are your thoughts on your fellow countryman and his performance that night?
It was amazing, and it goes to show that he's still ranked number one pound for pound, right? So he deserves that. He deserves all the glory. If I was scoring it, I think they were pretty close with the scores. I did think that Islam won, but it was an amazing fight, and I thought it was so cool how they had both improved so significantly. Volkanovski in the wrestling and Islam in the striking, that they almost cancelled each other out, like cancelled each other's skill set out. It was an amazing fight, and I definitely want to see it again.
Definitely, all of us want to. I mean, it's set up perfectly for the rematch. It was so close.
Yeah.
Islam wanted to be pound for pound. He didn't get that, so it seems like even the UFC might be pushing towards a rematch of some sort. You know what? One day, Jacinta, we hope that we can be talking about you fighting in the main event at a UFC event in Australia, or maybe even better for us in Abu Dhabi. You've got plenty of skill. We can definitely see you taking on the likes of Zhang Wei Li, Rose Namajunas, and all those other tough ladies. You've provided plenty of entertaining fights in the past, and I'm sure your next one will be just as entertaining. We don't want to take up too much of your time. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. We can't wait for your fight on the 25th. We wish you all the best, and we hope to hear some good news soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me.